My husband teaches us how to do
but I
this.
just sometimes a little humor
Get your
can
story
get you
out.
through.
Hello. Before I share my hilarious battle with breast cancer with you, I wanted to let you in on a little secret. I'm totally cross-eyed. I know, it's awkward to look at me. I personally hate having conversations with cross-eyed people. Neither of us know where to look. I just tell them, look here. I became curious to see if I had any comedic soulmates out there. So one day I Googled breast cancer survivors dash cross-eyed dash blind in one eye comedians. Guess what? Blind in one eye, cross-eyed breast cancer survivor comedians are not oversaturating the comedy market. I'm it. I've got my one good eye on the prize. So here we are, folks. I'm here, you're here. My left eye is somewhere. Let's talk about cancer. I was diagnosed with breast cancer 23 years ago, so that made me 6 years old at the time. Okay, I was 31 and a newlywed. My husband and I were getting ready to start a family. But instead of becoming pregnant with some crotch fruit of my own, I grew a tumor in my boob. Yeah, that's totally, how I roll. Now here's a little background. My mom was a breast cancer survivor, so I got into the habit of going to second base with myself. One night, I'm feeling myself up. Sexy, right? And I felt it. A little lump of sand. Now, I was just at the beach, so I thought maybe some sand had snuck into my nipple, traveled up through my milk duct, and settled right about fucking here. With a little nudging from my husband, I went and got myself a mammogram. And, things didn't turn out how I hoped. Because next thing you know, I am having a needle biopsy, and I'm having a conversation with my oncologist. I've got the big C, cancer. Now, when you're diagnosed with cancer, things happen really fast. Because a week later, I had a lumpectomy, and then my oncologist sat me down and told me how lucky I was because I was stage 1. So I get that. But in that same sentence, she proceeded to tell me that she was recommending I have a double mastectomy, do 4 rounds of chemo, and most likely the chemo was going to leave me infertile. Now, how the hell does that make me lucky? You want to chop my boobs off, kill me with chemo, and make it impossible for me to breed? I don't know. Something didn't feel right. To this day, I still think she was from the future and trying to save humanity from my offspring. I know. How do you think I felt? When my oncologist told me I wasn't going to be able to have kids of my own, I was heartbroken. I cried my one good eye out for weeks. Now, for my first round of chemo, I had a medicine by the name of adriamycin. It's also known as the Red Devil, and let's just say the Red Devil lived up to its name and put me through hell. For 5 straight days, I puked my brains out. My head spun around, my body levitated. I was the exorcist! But I did lose 10 pounds. Round 2 of the Red Devil came and went. Now, don't get me wrong, I still had more exorcisms. I lost all of my hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, pubes, and my skin turned that lovely shade of chemo gray. What can I say? I'm lucky. For my 3rd chemo, my oncologist had me take a new anti-nausea medicine because I was down to 97 pounds. Again, not necessarily a bad thing, but my God, I didn't want people to think I was doing lines of coke. It was the 2000s. The new drug was called Compazine, and it sucked for me. Because naturally, I experienced its very rare side effect of rigor mortis. Yeah. I sat there like a stiff, dead person for a couple hours until I finally had to go to the ER to get some relief. But you know what? This is just the price you pay when you are the hoarder of good fortune. My last chemo was brutal. I ended up needing a blood transfusion, and my friends, that's how I contracted ADHD. According to my non-existent medical training, that could happen. Because all I know is I have been very hyper and very scattered ever since then. Now finally I am fucking done with chemo. Woo! It's time to chop off my boobs. It was. But you know what? I was small-chested, so the double mastectomy was a breeze. My surgeon just kind of flicked off my boobs, off my chest, put in the implants, and then it was time for the reveal. Yeah, about that. Let's just say you get what you pay for. And my copay was $10. My boobs were not like those of Playboy centerfolds. My boobs resembled hexagon-shaped pancakes that had been left out on the counter for a week. It's true. They were hard, they were pathetic, and I wouldn't have made a dime off them if I had an account on OnlyFans. Now, by the time I was ready for my next surgery, my copay increased to $15, so I actually got some implants I was happy with. It was time to complete the final steps of my breast reconstruction and get some nipples on my mannequin boobs. There's a visual for you. In order to create my nipple, the doctor had to use some of my extra boob skin and formed these super long carrot-like nipples and attached them to my invisible areolas. Now, the doctor has to make my nipples extra long because the carrots shrink rather quickly, and then they do end up looking like normal nipples. So for a while, I got to walk around with my mannequin boobs, and now I had floppy, long, steamed carrots hanging off them. I'm looking like a real sex kitten at this point. Meow. But of course, things didn't go as smoothly as one would hope because I am that fucking looking bitch. One morning, I was showering and almost lost one of my floppy carrot nipples down the drain. I thought I was being very gentle while cleaning myself, but because of my recent contraction of ADHD, I was daydreaming. And I accidentally washed my new nipple with a loofah. Yeah. It's true. You cannot make this up. Somehow, floppy carrot nipple got caught in the loofah threads. Floppy carrot nipple was now literally hanging on by a stitch. Lesson learned. My bad. Now, trust me, I could go on and on and on about everything I went through with cancer, but I always tried to find humor in my darkest moments. I knew there had to be a reason why I was going through such a traumatic thing, and it took a couple of years to finally see there was a silver lining. Having cancer led us to our adopted son. I finally became a mom. I did. Lucas. He's right over there. He's 6'1". He's grown so much, especially since we just adopted him yesterday. Now, I can agree with my oncologist. She was right. I am lucky. Thank you.